You are listening to an exclusive on Pod Pub Network. Your city, your podcast.
This crowd, Brandon marches down the dugout steps with first base. Touch his throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. The Buccos win. That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9 Live. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me tonight, we got our co-host, Tyler. Tyler, what's up, man?
Another night without Jim.
Another night without Jim.
Listen how peaceful it is.
He actually was DFA'd, by the way. We
Right,
had to make room for Wil Craig. So
Wil Craig is not here though at the moment. But when he does get here, we'll hit a home run.
that's it. Pirates lose tonight, 3-1. Another night of woeful offense. Actually, some solid pitching again. Big shout to Wil Crowe. Like, I'll say the stat line, like at the end of the day, 3 runs. You know, like it's not impressive, but to me, I felt it was another for Wil Crowe. Okay, let's leave that. Like for Wil Crowe, another impressive outing for him. He's not here to be your ace. You were barely expecting him to be in the rotation, period. So, like for a Wil Crowe outing, I was left still impressed again by him.
Yeah, I mean, 5 innings, a 3-run ball, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. Well, what more do you really want from a guy that they obviously didn't think enough of him to put in the rotation? And I don't think anybody thought enough of him to think of him as a future piece. And I still really don't. But he's going to eat innings, and that's what the Buccos need right now.
True. And that's true. And I still don't look at him as like a future piece. I'm not saying that, Wil Crowe is looking good and we can expect him to be in this future rotation. And like we really fleeced the Nationals, you know, in that Josh Bell trade. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is he has at least shown that right now in this rotation, he belongs. You know, you pointed out last week as well, the increased velocity. Was it last week or the week before, actually?
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I was going to say, because he had to start in between. So, it was, so like he was hitting 96, 97. And then last week's start, he was still hitting like just 93, 94. Tonight, it was back out. He was hitting 96 as well. So, like, there's stuff that is intriguing about Wil Crowe. And, like, even with the 3 runs that all came in the 5th inning, he looked excellent up until that point. And honestly, like, the Polanco play in right field looked terrible, but I don't think if he would have played it differently, it would have stopped the triple from coming anyways. And then also, I mean, the throw to third, you know, the pickoff attempt by Stallings that wasn't handled well, that scored a run. Like all of this wasn't really on Crowe. I felt, you know, the home run that gave up, home run was given up. That's fine. It was a 1-run shot. Right. I'm cool with that. But yeah, it's like, you know, he didn't get any help. That's for sure.
And I know I believe it was McHenry, we were talking about the defense improving this year, and he was really high on that. I do believe the defense did improve, but we're at a point now where they are duct tape, chewing gum, there's nothing you can do. They're throwing pieces at the wall and see what sticks.
Well, I mean, that's part of it too. And with injuries, I mean, geez, like we talked about the defense looking better. Part of that was because Alfred was going to be in center field. Alfred does have a good, I mean, he's athletic as hell. Like he did have a good glove.
He stunk though.
Pathetic at the plate, as we saw. Like even with Fowler, like there was some good defense there. Losing Bell, Morano's an improvement, which he has been. So yes, like in theory, you do believe that. But at the same time,
in theory, everybody stays healthy.
Actually, you know what's funny? Like to bring this up again, Kevin Newman has played very good defense this year.
Very well.
And analytically, everything, like it measures out that he is one of the top defenders, not just shortstops, but defenders in baseball. And this comes after him being like one of the worst defenders in all of baseball. So I'll give him that at least right now.
But I mean, aside from that, you lose Hayes, you lose Moran. Your outfield is legitimately Rule 5 draft picks and guys that you pick up off the scrap heap. What do you want to do?
Right. And Reynolds being your center fielder now. You know,
and he's not a center fielder.
There's no good defense right now in the center field.
No, and I don't blame them for it. What do you really want them to do right now? There's nothing they can't do. Like, be better? They can't. They're in a position where they can't be better.
I mean, I could argue that, but it wouldn't make sense for them to do what they need to do to be better for 2021.
Really? What do you think they need to do to be better right now?
Well, no, I'm just saying. I mean, you could make the argument that Swaggerty could be here.
Yeah.
And they would be better. I mean, that's a legit argument. They would be better with Swaggerty, but it doesn't make any sense in the year of 2021 to have Swaggerty up here right now to make this team better.
Exactly.
Like you're saying, like who cares really?
Yeah, there's no reason. Like, sure, you can bring Swaggerty up. You can go sign some vet that's going to play a strong defense, and you can sign and bring up Anthony Alford for that matter. Doesn't matter. Like, they're trying to find out who's going to be part of the future or who they can trade. Anthony Alford, they cannot trade. He's terrible.
He got a run tonight in Indy. He got his first hit.
He's garbage. Troy Stokes, slightly intriguing.
Stokes in center.
Like, by intriguing, I mean
Contreras. We can call Contreras right now in the rotation.
There's just no reason to call anyone up right now.
I know. I'm like, again, jokingly
other than
that.
Wil Craig. Right, but like it leads into the Wil Craig argument that was had by like, I don't know, maybe 3 people on Twitter today. Wil Craig is 26 years old. He's not Travis Swaggerty.
No, of course not.
He's already been DFA'd.
Well, potentially not. We don't know what Travis Swaggerty is, but Swaggerty certainly has the potential to be much more than what Wil Craig is.
At the very least, he's not some lard at first base.
True. But that lard at first base hit a home run tonight.
He did. And I will admit fully that I was on board with Wil Craig being drafted the day of. But the guy hasn't worked out. But right now, yeah, you got to... What's the downside of bringing him up? If he hits, great. Keep him up here. If he doesn't, oh well. He hasn't shown it. Goodbye.
And that's
who else is going to pick him up?
Well, right. So to talk about the whole Wil Craig situation, Wil Craig to me at this point is just a guy. He's just a guy. 2020 was a little bit different. 2020, he hadn't seen the majors yet, and it was at that point too, like, what do you have to lose? Like let's get Wil Craig up here. Let's see what he can do. Well, he didn't do too well. Wil Craig showed that wasn't anything special. And it's not as if like Wil Craig has been special. He's really, I mean, I'm not going to go off record and don't quote me on this, but my recollection and how I feel is he's more or less dropped in prospect rankings almost every single year. So it's not as if he's improved his stock. He doesn't like stay the same. He's gotten worse and worse and worse over time. And then last year was just so pathetic that, it was more or less like, let's just call him up. Let's just have another guy just to give me a different face. And he came up, wasn't that great. And let's be honest too, like the Pirates, right? Charrington, they He was off the
They're
40-man
not
roster.
high on
this
him,
year.
obviously.
Right. He was free to be signed to any baseball club this offseason. And that spoke to that as well, because no baseball club said, oh, let's take him. Any team in Major League Baseball could have had Wil Craig. Man, between the Stallings and the Crows and Craigs right now, I'm going to go crazy. Anyone could have had Wil Craig this offseason. They chose not to. So that leads me to believe too. Like, so there's the argument for calling up right now is because Moran's probably going to come back soon. Evans will come back at some point. Even Brian Hayes is going to be coming back probably in a few weeks, right? So, soon enough, Craig's going to have to be off this club and free to be signed by any team at that point again. Like, he's available. Anyone can pick him up, just as the Pirates have been doing with all these other guys, right? Like your Toms and such.
But it's a prove it. Like, show you belong here or else this is your last shot.
I mean, you're right. But I guess the thing is, with this early right now, was calling him up the right choice? Or do you go ahead and do somebody else who's on the 40-man or whatnot?
I don't know if it's the right choice or not, but I think in the Pirates' eyes, he's at a point where he's an organizational piece. And you live with that, and that's the way it is. Maybe some people think differently, that we're living in 2016, 2015, where he's a first rounder, but in all reality, he hasn't shown anything. So they look at him as an organizational depth piece. And if at some point he needs to be DFA'd because he's not hitting, this is a prove it time.
That's fair. I mean, I will say that I was shocked in the sense that he was called right now. I did have the mindset of it was going to be somebody different. Just because these aren't long-term injuries, there's no like trade freeing up another spot for him to be on the team for the entire year. I was a little bit shocked, but I will say that I don't look at it as like, oh my God, what are they doing? Because again, I do view him as he's just a guy. Even going back, 2019 is last year in the minor leagues, right? Because there was no minor leagues last year. 2019
a lot of homers
in
did
AAA,
not walk.
Right? A 92 weighted run created plus. His full season as a 24-year-old in AAA, he was 8% below average as a first baseman hitting. That's your calling card. Now he does have good defense, so I'll give him that, but he couldn't hit.
But it's also, would you rather the Pirates call up some scrub 30-year-old and that we all know has absolutely no chance of being part of this future, or the 1% chance that Wil Craig shows up here and just hits the cover off the ball somehow? Because right now we got nothing worth watching.
I'm on board with that. Again, that's my argument with, I'll see Alford. I'll see Fowler. It's going to be a lot of bad baseball, but I'm willing to go ahead and just give those opportunities because what's the opposition? Todd Frazier, right? I don't need to see Todd Frazier.
We've seen enough. We got through 10 games. That was enough.
I don't even know how we got through 10 games. Jeez.
The guy don't have it anymore.
No.
Wil Craig at some point might be able to be a bench piece. I don't know. Maybe he comes up, hits the cover off the ball like every other team has these weird fat first basemen that show up and just destroy baseballs. Pirates haven't had those since Garrett Jones, except he wasn't fat, but you know what I mean.
Right.
I feel like the Cubs and the Cardinals have one of these all the time. Like some organizational depth piece that shows up at 26 years old and he just tears the cover off the ball.
Well, absolutely the Cardinals. That's for sure. Well, hey, I mean, if we're talking about it,
maybe it's our time.
He's got 4 home runs in his last 3 games, if you count the AAA and tonight. So, I mean, that's something. Talk about short sample size, of course, but
he is intriguing enough to grab the slightest bit of my attention right now.
Yeah, I'm for that. Again, I guess my concern, which was other people's concerns, which I can relate to, is what happens when 7 days from now who gets sent. Like Moran comes back. Evan,
Who
like
cares?
Like,
this team sucks.
Well, no, but that's what I'm getting at. So is Wil Craig still afforded the opportunity to continue to watch him to see if he can, or is he the odd man out again and you potentially lose him?
Does he have any options left? I actually don't know.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's done.
Like he's legit out of options.
Yeah. Oh, wait. No, my bad. Oh, hold up. He's got 2 options.
Okay. Pick one of those, throw a dart at the 40-man roster, you're gone.
Hold up. So my bad. Hold on. Let's change this whole entire argument. I'm good with this. Who
Outright
cares?
Some scrub.
Oh, yeah. See, my bad. I thought Wil Craig was out of options. He's got 2. We're good. Yeah.
Just
option
throw a
him.
dart at the 40-man roster, and who cares?
Yeah, the rest I could care less about. I mean, if it's Tom, it's Tom. Right?
Go back to whoever. Where'd he come from? Oakland originally, or Cleveland, or I don't know.
That's right. Because it was Fowler and Tom. We both got from them.
Yeah, they both
so it's
stunk.
Tom. Evans goes back as an outfielder. We still have Stokes there. Yeah, it's Tom. We're good. Polanco's back. It's Tom. It's done.
I can go down the list of the 40-man roster and pick probably 20 of them that you can go ahead and just see you.
And that's part of it. But right, I think it's Tom. It's it. But right, it's Tom.
You just really want Tom gone.
I'm sorry, Tom. You're it. You're gone. But yes, I was under the impression that actually he was out of options and he's not. So this is not even an argument right now. What are we doing if we're like, okay, my concern was losing Wil Craig again. So in 7 days, he's the odd man out. He's being exposed to the waiver wire again, or not the waiver wire, but he's being exposed to be picked up by anybody. Yeah. And now the Pirates lose Wil Craig. He's still going to be on the team. Who cares? Who cares if you lose Tom? Who cares?
Right. What's really confusing me now is what were people arguing about on Twitter earlier?
That's why I thought people were arguing. And honestly, before I even saw the arguments, that was my whole mindset of Craig. He's got options. What are we doing arguing about this? Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. I'm done. This whole talk segment about Wil Craig has changed. So Wil Craig, yes, get his ass up here. I want to see more of Wil Craig, and I'm good with it now. As much Wil Craig this year as I can see to find out what he is, because you're right. He's 26 years old. He needs to be in the major leagues at this point.
All right. I just want to know what people were arguing about on Twitter then. Because I didn't have time.
Apparently they were arguing because they were afraid of losing Tom. Or Stokes. I mean, give me Stokes right now. I'm not trying to completely bash Tom. He hasn't. I mean,
DiNardo,
he's
just pick a reliever off the 40-man and goodbye.
I'm not. I want them. We're good with Tom.
Ben Gomel. Goodbye.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, him first.
Just pick one.
God, we have so many bad players. There was seriously arguments. You're right, Tyler. There were seriously arguments over this.
That's why I was confused.
All right. So Wil Craig, I still am not expecting much of him at all. More than like an Alford, more than a Fowler. But I don't foresee, I don't really believe in Wil Craig as the future.
Of course not.
You're going to give him the chance. He hit the home run tonight. Kudos to Wil Craig. I am just afraid, though. And I don't know. I don't know. Never
afraid
mind.
of what?
I'll pass.
This team sucks.
No, I know it does. Just I don't know, like this carousel of like just bad players. Like like Wil Craig like has this like nice week. Not Alford. Moran comes back, Evans comes back, and Brian Hayes comes back, and like Craig's taking playing time against like the players you really should be seeing. I don't know. Anyways.
Who cares? They all suck. Just play the guys that like put Wil Craig in right field. I don't care.
Oh my
the outfield blows.
Polanco.
I don't care what they like. Put Colin Moran at second base and trade Adam Frisch. Do whatever.
Put
you
Wil
feel
Craig
like
at second
doing.
base. That was
literally
the thing. 2 years ago.
I said it about the 40-man roster. Just do it with the starting lineup. Dart, 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 dart. You play there. Let's go.
Okay. Can we move on from Will Craig then?
Yeah.
All right. Because I'm
was
angry
a
that I was
waste.
forced into this trap. But we had to talk to him. So good for Will Craig. 4 home runs, 3 games. He's probably the best power potential on this team right now. So I guess moving on from him, we talked a little bit about Crowe. Let's get into his performance a little more in depth. So again, he did pitch pretty decent tonight. The other thing I want to mention, now Joe Block tweeted this out today. I had no idea about this. Neither did you, Tyler. So I'll make sure you don't lie about it. Neither did Jim. Jim's the one that brought it up into our text group. Nobody has hit his fastball this entire year. Now that changed tonight. Buster Posey was the first and only person to hit his fastball. Nobody has hit Wil Crowe's fastball.
Yeah, I don't know how that's happening because his fastball's not that good.
It's improved upon, as we mentioned, from years
Still
ago.
not that good.
But improved doesn't make it good. It's just not terrible anymore.
I mean, I think he locates his pitches well enough to be a capable. He looks like he belongs. I don't want to say a capable major leaguer. Right now, he looks like he isn't going to embarrass himself out there. But, I mean, he's throwing 93, 94.
Until he doesn't. Like, he just still...
And then he goes to, 97? Woo.
Yeah, but
That's
at
bad.
least he's hit 97 is a big difference from 92.
It is, but at the same time, these guys see that every day.
I'm just saying.
Look, I love the off speed.
I just don't know.
I think he locates
I want to know more of, like, what are you? Are you the 92, 93 or the 95, 97? Because you keep showing differences. What are you, Wil Crowe?
Yeah, that's a great question because I don't think we're going to know until we get a full year of him. And I'm willing to watch a full year of him like I'm willing to watch a year of Wil Craig. God, this is going to get so confusing with they're both on the rock. No,
so
only one of
bad.
them could stay.
And did you know this story? They talked about on air. They both got college offers from the same team, but they mixed them up. Wil Craig got Wil Crowe's offer, and then Wil Crowe got Wil Craig's offer, and neither of them went there. I didn't know about that. That's kind of funny.
They cannot both be on this team. One of them's going to go because
Right.
I can't do this every week.
For our sake.
I can't think before I speak. I don't like it. So I'm going to be talking about Wil Craig hitting, or hey, I said it right. Wil Crowe hitting home runs. And did I say that right?
Not
I don't
now.
know.
You did it
Anyhow.
first. But I don't know. Wil Crowe might end up hitting a home run. He's got the highest weighted run created plus on the team right now.
Touche. Anyhow, at the end of the day, I like what I've seen. Like everything doesn't look bad.
It doesn't.
It's a cautious, like, that pitch didn't suck. Good job, buddy. But it's also this guy does suck though, so I don't know what to believe.
Right. I mean, he does have some Trevor-esque, Trevor Williams type of traits.
Mhm.
And you're just gonna have to live with it. Like he is going to have times. He doesn't give a whole lot of hard contact. Even tonight, a lot of stuff was grounders. So, he's going to have the nights where he probably gets bathed up like Trevor did. I mean, Trevor steadily decreased and fell off, unfortunately. Like, he's a good dude. You wished success for him, but he just progressively got worse. So, but the thing about him, though, too, was he was never going to just light you up. He was never going to attack you and strike you out. He was going to, live off of good defense behind him, contact. And I feel like that's a lot to like Wil Crowe's game. But I want to transition this too, because you brought this up 2 weeks ago. And that's why I feel like I want to know, because is he the 92, 93 guy or 95, 97? And he's doing this as a starter. So eventually, nothing against Wil Crowe. But if the Pirates are going to be good, Wil Crowe shouldn't be in this rotation. Is that fair to say?
Very fair.
Okay. And again, not taking too much away from Wil Crowe. So seeing still that him belonging on this club is still probably going to be a bullpen arm. What is he as a reliever? Is he now 97, 98 as a reliever, or is he still like 93, 94, 95? You know, like who are you?
That's the weird thing. Like, is it I feel good this day, I can throw this hard, or is it something that he's holding back? That's going to be a big determination of what he can do, because if he's in the bullpen throwing 93, 94, that doesn't play unless you're Rich Rod.
Well, right.
And even that's like an anomaly sometimes.
I'm kind of still perplexed on it, yes, but it's there. He's got great location. He's doing good stuff.
You know, it's a question of, is it a decision on his part that I'm going to try to locate this game, or I'm going to try to throw hard, or is it my arm doesn't feel great? Because if your arm don't feel great and you can't get it up that high, you're not going to handle the bullpen very well either.
True.
So it's going to be one of those. The Pirates know the answer. They have to.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But on the fan side,
it doesn't help us, though.
No,
I want to know.
Not at all.
For my selfish reasons, too, but
it's going to be a wait and see.
It is. But again, that's even that's why I'm honestly saying it. Like I talk about on the show and I talk about on the starts, like almost every Wil Crowe start, I'm intrigued. I'm fascinated. I want to see it, which is so weird because it's not as if it's Brubaker, or just some guy with some crazy, filthy stuff that's trying to put it together. It's not like old Glass nowadays. Like, I'm intrigued. Let's see what he can do, put together.
Or
this guy,
current terms, Mitch Keller.
Well, see, I just bypass
right now.
Because anymore, I'm not even intrigued anymore.
Yeah, I'm not either. To be honest,
I'm frightened when it's a Mitch Keller start. Although the next start will be good. So like he's not. It's not as if he's out there just looking sexy. I know I use that term a lot in here, but just as what it is. Like, it's not as if like you're just like, oh man, I can't wait to watch his filth. I'm intrigued because I still don't know what he is. I'm trying to find out what is a Wil Crowe.
Who are you?
Who are you? Wil Crowe.
That should be his
Wil Crowe.
walk-up music.
So yes, I'm just intrigued by Wil Crowe because I haven't figured him out yet. I'm still perplexed on what he is. He's at least shown that he's adequate. So that's good. That's a plus. But what do you have? What's in your arsenal?
How hard do you throw? Like, let us know. Will you just figure it out and either throw hard or not throw hard?
Yes. All right.
So when you throw hard, we're intrigued. When you don't, we're not.
So we talked about the Wils. I guess we can move on. Did you want to talk about the draft? I know you do. Let's talk about it next. You want to talk about it next? Anything else on your mind?
To be honest, the big part of this draft talk I want to talk about was Pompiani. I love Pomp. But his tweet, man, talking about drafting Jordan Lawler because or not drafting Jordan Lawler because the Pirates have too many options in the middle infield in the minor leagues.
Right. As I think quoted, another shortstop.
Yeah. What on earth do people think when they tweet about drafting in baseball? You draft whatever player you think is going to be the best. I don't care where they play. You pick the one with the most upside. Unless we're talking about a closer or a reliever. You pick whatever player you think is going to be the best. I don't care where your depth is in the minor leagues because half these guys are going to suck. Pick the best player. And also, if you're picking more middle infielders, that's a good thing because middle infielders can play everywhere.
So before we get there, let's bring this back because here is what I want to talk in, like where I have, I guess, concerns because Pompiani says that, okay? And like you said, like I respect Pompiani, like Pompiani. He says it. He's been around for how long? That's a little concerning, right? It's a little concerning. That's his thought process. Now, to go way overboard, a guy that I don't respect is Steigerwald, who actually suggested about trading the pick.
I didn't see that. I'm blocked.
Oh, you didn't see
I
that?
called him this.
That was
No, I called him the C word one day.
well,
Block me.
we're blocked too. When we made him the injury of the week the one time, but that I think was like at least a month ago, probably longer though. But regardless, he suggested trading the pick. Tyler Steigerwald, Pittsburgh Sports Media. Okay, so again, with Pompey, I guess it's just a thought process, and I still would.
It's
assume,
a terrible thought process.
I still would assume
I can understand.
he would know that. You know what I mean? So it's like a little, I don't know, a little discerning that like he didn't. With Steigerwald just not knowing what the hell baseball is and what to do or anything, just being an idiot as he is, that's just pathetic. So, but to bring it back to Pompiani, this whole mindset, right? Like you are absolutely correct. Like it's baseball is much different than NFL, the NBA, whatever. You know, that's your biggest argument against the minors, which you hate so much about the minors, is the fact that the waiting game. You know, like you just wish I could see them play. Well, it ain't that way in baseball. So you don't draft for need because, for one thing, too, that need might change in 4 years and the guy's up. You don't know what you're going to have. And are you going to be pissed off because you took the lesser catcher? Because at that time you felt like you needed a catcher and instead you got freaking, Juan Soto out there and you're like, damn it, why did I just get Soto?
Oh, man, we already have 3 outfielders.
Tatis, fine. Perfect example, a shortstop. Like, I didn't get Tatis Jr. because we needed a catcher. So now we got Francisco Cervelli, right? Could have had Tatis.
Why we draft Austin Meadows? We got Polanco, Kutch, and Marte.
Right.
Now we got Polanco.
Like, you can't do it. You can't draft for need because you don't know what the hell the need's truly going to be. We talk about all these prospects on this show right now. We're very excited about all of them. But we don't know who the hell is actually going to pan out. There's a lot of shortstops. There's a lot of middle infield depth right now in the system. But we don't know who the hell is playing in 2025. What if Gonzalez doesn't pan out? What if Peguero sucks? Right?
Yeah.
What if one gets arrested and gets thrown in jail? I mean, we know firsthand this stupid stuff happens. You don't know what's going to happen 4 years from now. And now you missed out on if Lawler, right? We don't know if he is an all-star, perennial all-star. It's like you didn't draft him because, you know what? We already have too many of those.
And listen, I don't really want Lawler, but the Pirates, they have scouted far more than me. I want one of the arms. But if they determine that Lawler's the best pick, I don't care if he's a middle infielder. Just put him somewhere. If your bat plays, you play. We're not talking about drafting a first. We're not talking about drafting Wil Crowe. He's the corner infielder. That's it. Most likely a first baseman. We're talking about a middle infielder. If you can play there, you can play almost anywhere.
Which is the next point I want to bring up. You're absolutely correct. This is also not a college player. This is a high school player. And the reason that it's more of a difference to me is he's even more heads over heels of the talent there. He's way more talented than anyone on that diamond, whereas in college it'd be evened out some. So with that being said, if he's being talked about being the number one pick in all of MLB this upcoming draft, do you not think he's probably the most athletic kid on that team?
Yeah.
Where's your most athletic kid probably playing in high school?
Shortstop.
Where do you think probably 90% of the position players in MLB probably played
shortstop?
Thank you.
Wil Crowe probably played shortstop. To be fair, we could probably look that up. Go ahead and talk.
JT Realmuto, I actually top of my head, I'm thinking, I think JT Realmuto was not a shortstop, but I think he was drafted as a second baseman, and he's now like the best catcher in baseball. I mean, Starling Marte, I believe, was a shortstop. Was Polanco at one point too?
Polanco was a pitcher.
But I think, was he also a shortstop too? Or just strictly pitching?
I do not know.
I don't know. But regardless, yes, that's what we're getting at. Like, all your uber athletes are shortstops. And like you said, so he's playing shortstop because he's uber athletic. And if you're uber athletic, don't you think you can also play center field? Don't you think you also can play first base anywhere? I mean, isn't Mookie Betts in the outfield? Wasn't he a second baseman who couldn't play because Pedroia was there? And now he's your one of your best outfielders in baseball?
Yeah.
Okay. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about, guys?
Wil Craig played third base. Wil Craig is a fat tub of lard. Like nobody gets drafted as a college first, like playing first base in college. You're not a first rounder. In high school, these guys
unless
are playing.
You're Torkelson, unless you're someone like of that talent. But
But most of these guys are playing up the middle somewhere that are getting drafted. It's the dumbest argument of all time. What's the chances he sticks a shortstop? Maybe the glove's great.
And if he does, then it's Gonzalez.
A spot.
Then it's Bay. It's very likely O'Neal Cruz. Like someone's going to stick there. The others, they're athletic.
Pick a spot.
So Gonzalez ends up being the center fielder. He'll learn it. I'm very comfortable and feeling that he'll learn that position. I mean, hell, again, if we're looking Cincinnati Reds, Nick Senzel, third baseman. He's playing center field now. You just make it work.
We're not talking about the old days where Jacoby Jones is an outfielder that Neil Huntington just decided he's athletic. Let's put him at shortstop and see what happens. Or Connor Joe, that's a catcher, and let's throw him to third because we don't have anything there.
Shout out to Connor Joe he's with the Rockies. I saw he got a hit the other night.
It's the dumbest thing of all time. And once again, I want one of the two arms. If they don't get it, hopefully one of them works. Look at Carlos Correa. He was not a consensus number one.
Mm-hmm.
He worked out all right. Another high school shortstop.
So the argument here is, and I fully agree with you. I'm not out here touting that it's Jordan Lawler. Honestly, I have no effing clue. Because without the season last year, really changed a lot of things. You don't know. Rocker was the consensus. Now we're getting baseball again, and I swear it changes every other week. Of course, it was Rocker because it carried on over. Rocker had a tremendous first start, and I feel like a second start as well. And there were some concerns, but the thing was, Leiter was step for step with him until Rocker kind of started falling, and Leiter kept it up. And then, Leiter's now being managed and this and that. He's giving up some long balls. Jordan Lawler's creeping back up. Now in the latest one today, there's another mock that it's Henry Davis from Louisville, the catcher. By all means, of course, the catcher, Tyler, the catcher. Here we go.
All right, no, I don't want a catcher.
Well, Beer Temple was oh man, he was pounding the keeper when he saw that. Oh, there's a position of need. Go get the catcher. I'm sure that's his MO right now. Henry Davis is his pick.
Yeah, no. That's a position that no.
I'm with you, man. Catcher is
no.
You don't get too many looking across the diamond here. Too many posies.
Exactly.
Catcher is almost a thing you can just kind of fill every few years.
Catcher is a position that if you really want it, you probably need to look in Latin America. Or like you said.
Think about right. But look at the Pirates have been doing. Pirates have not had terrible catching for a while.
No.
They have not had terrible catching for a long time. And where's their catchers all come from? There's never Tony Sanchez has been literally the only catching prospect, and Elias Diaz, and he went nowhere. That was pretty much all of your catching, period, for over the last
minors,
decade.
Yeah. Well, Stallings now.
Well, and he really wasn't a prospect. That worked out, thankfully.
But catching's just no, just don't draft it early.
I'm with you. I'm with you. Just for that fact, I'm on board with that.
And they are so hard to put somewhere else, really. And if they're bad plays, you're probably going to move them anyhow.
Yeah, but potentially, like, where are you probably moving him to? The first,
Yeah.
And then is their bat play well enough for first? That's where it gets
And if
kind
the
of
bat
like
does play well enough at first, then it's just a tough position though.
Like the thing is, like
burn an early rounder on.
Justin Morneau. God, not Morneau. Who am I thinking here? Who is the catcher?
God.
Wow.
Joe Mauer.
Yeah, Joe Mauer. Like, and by all means, a lot of bad things happened for him in his career, which sucked, But Joe Mauer was excellent. Like he brought a lot of value because he was the catcher. Like as a first baseman, he's a good guy. He's a good player.
Right.
As a catcher, he's an MVP. And that's the difference. So that's why like moving him off the first base.
But as a catcher,
you also
don't
lose
stay on the field.
Right. So anyways, so like the point I'm getting to is I have no idea. And why I have no idea too is, well, first, like you mentioned, I'm not a draft analyst. I'm not a scout. And what the Pirates do is what the Pirates are going to end up doing. If they feel it's Rocker, if they feel it's Leiter, Lawler, Henry Davis, whomever, that's the pick. But what I do say, the good thing about this is, like the Correa you mentioned, like there's no consensus. There is absolutely no person that's like, this is the guy. Last year, there was some ideology that I was Rocker, right? You can still argue it, but at that point in time, he was the favorite. Right now, it could be literally anyone.
I still want it to be Rocker, but if it's not, it's not, man. Like if they go under slot and sign someone, and that at this point, Ben Sherrington hasn't given me a reason to doubt him. When he does, I'll start trashing him. Till then, I can't do it yet.
That's very fair. And that kind of goes back to what we were discussing last week. Like just grading Charrington at this point. I give him the benefit of the doubt. Some of the deals I was just, like I said, okay with, but now every single deal just looks really good. And my God, let's bring it up again. Like the Tyone deal, every week, does it look better? I love
Tyone.
The guy.
I love the guy.
Yes, Tyone's great, but of course we're talking about today because he had to start tonight. Last I saw is 4 innings pitched and 4 earned runs. I don't know if that changed, but
sure,
he's not the guy the Pirates once hoped him to be. And I think it's clear that he's also not the guy that the Yankees were hoping they were going to get in return either. I got up right now. So that's where he ended. Yeah, 4.2 with 4 earned runs. I mean, 9 strikeouts, though. That's something he's been striking out a lot of people. But the results aren't totally there. So anyways, though, regardless, the return he got, I mean, again, another week, that entire prospect package has looked really, really good. So yes, I am not doubting Charrington at all to this point.
I mean, okay, I was just looking at his peripherals. He's up to a 445 FIP. But yeah, I don't know how you can really doubt Sherrington at this point until he shows something that doesn't go according to the plan that he looks like he has in place.
That's fair.
Because right now, I think he's followed the plan and he hasn't really deviated. If he does that, then it might be raise an eyebrow.
Yeah, and you know what? I think we didn't know what the plan was, obviously, either. So that's part of it. He came in late. He didn't really have the 2020 to really work with. Most of it was done afterwards. Like it was just the Marte deal at that first time, which even that, like at the time, it was like, that's it. That's it for Marte. I was expecting a better prospect. He's continued that plan. So he was brand new. We're seeing this stuff. I question some of it. I think what we've seen at this point, he has now earned, at least my thought, like the benefit of the doubt. Any move he makes going forward, even if I don't trust it or I'm kind of shaky, he's giving me I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. So like in this draft, whoever he picks, I'm good with it till you prove me wrong.
Yeah, and it absolutely could be too early to be saying it. But to this point, he hasn't done anything. Otherwise, it's almost like whenever Huntington would pick up one of these crappy starting pitchers as a reclamation, where you go, oh, that looks. Why are we replacing AJ Burnett with Edinson Volquez? Someone shoot me. Why are we picking up Von Nova, over and over? Why J.A. Happ? It gets to a point where, and once again, could be too early, but right now, I think he's got the benefit of the doubt for me.
And that's a very good comparison because that's true, though. I mean, let's go back to Neil Huntington's tenure at that time. It was. You would look at it. I mean, let's even look at the Liriano deal. In the first time he got Liriano. And you're like, man, this guy sucks. Like that's cool. It's a cool name. Liriano was a beast. Like another guy I wish you didn't have these injuries. But he sucks, man. And then he does that.
Yeah.
So, right. I mean, it was like the same concept. You kind of question things, but it's like, well, at this point in time, how can you still question it? Because he keeps proving you to look like an idiot. Mark Melanson, this guy has like a 6 ERA. Like, what are you doing trading him? We just had Joel Hanrahan. Right? So, he was given that point to be awarded that mindset. You have the benefit of the doubt now. Whatever you do, I'm cool with it till you prove me wrong. Neil eventually got to that route where he started looking like an idiot. And there you go. But at this point in time with Sherrington, even though that it is young, like you said, it is early, but so far, and this isn't just us, like this isn't just a fanboy blog or podcast or whatever. Like this is people in Baseball America, all this, like these returns, how people were talking about them, they've looked excellent. Every single return for the most part, especially the Tyone trade. Which I felt would be the hardest to trade at that point. Can you imagine the Tyone trade probably being the best trade that he can get?
I think the Musgrove trade's still a little bit shaky, but
it can be. It can be. I don't hate it still. Bednar has.
I don't hate it yet,
but I mean it's still just a reliever.
We're talking about a reliever.
But also in that trade, you got Eddie Rodriguez, who's so far. Is it Rodriguez? Did I just screw up his name? I think it is.
God, they got so many Latin American
players. Is it Rodriguez or Romero? I don't know why I can't. We all know how terrible I am with names, though.
Andy.
Yeah, it's Rodriguez.
Okay.
Romero was popping in my head for some reason.
We got Ronesies, we got Endies. I can't keep them all straight.
And then it's Contreras at the end and not Castillo or...
Yeah.
So anyways, but again, he was technically part of that deal when we flipped, Lucchesi to the Mets. So theoretically, all in that deal, I mean, I'm okay with it. I still like it. There's still pieces there. But to me, the Tyone one just looks like it can be a slam dunk, major turnaround push. And Fangraphs is talking about getting back to Contreras, Castillo, Carrera, whatever his name is. Yes, Contreras. They're talking about moving him to a future value 50 prospect. Already. That's already being talked about. Very nice. And Jim, that you mentioned, like that is a top 100 type prospect right there.
Right. But you look back at the early days of Neil Huntington, the Pirates minor league system wasn't talked about very much. He was going those high floor guys. We got the Tabatas, we got Andy LaRoche, the guys that were real close to the majors. Sherrington's just taken a different approach, and to this point, all the prospect lists show that what he's done has been beneficial. So I don't get to watch all these guys every day. I gotta trust them, and for now, until it's shown otherwise, you gotta just kind of ride it out.
Yeah, and I think too, with the approaches, I think once the Pirates were recognized for the farm systems, when they're having those good farms, it all came through the draft.
Right.
Where Sherrington has done all this through trades. And so I mean, we're going to find out at the end of this year. I think it's a high reach. It's a stretch. It's a stretch potential here. But like you could potentially find like 5 to 8 prospects that could creep up to the top 100. And that's not counting the Pirates getting the number 1 overall pick this year. And then potentially next year, or like a top 5 at least, like we haven't touched.
Also graduating potentially 2 to 3.
Well, could Brian
Hayes
Hayes
will graduate.
And then would anyone else?
Cruz possibly could. Swaggerty's.
Swaggerty's what we're talking about. Swaggerty could this year.
Is Keller's off of it?
Yeah. So you're right, but again, like so, what we're talking about
possibly O'Neal Cruz though
before
maybe
the drafts start coming. Like before it hit, I guess there's one that Nick Gonzalez and he counts, but you know what I mean. Like he's doing all this right now, and we haven't really started hitting the thrash of top picks in the draft yet.
Right.
So that's
one
also
draft
to come. So you really, really could see this club, this system just flushed with talent everywhere.
God, I hope so.
And it's a lot of arms, which is good. There's definitely also a lot of position. Like already there's a lot of everything. And also a lot of shortstops. Too many shortstops, Tyler.
Not a bunch of outfielders, a lot of shortstops.
But it's everywhere. Like the one position really lacking in depth is catcher. That's the one where it's just Rodriguez, and he's still at this time he's like the number 25, 26 prospect. He's down there. That's really it when it comes to depth. But for the most part, I guess outfield also, but all those shortstops, right? Probably a few outfielders in there.
Touche.
That's, I guess, the catcher is really like the one that's really lacking. And then I guess next would be outfield. But it's like right now at this point in time, it's spread out all over the place.
Right.
So
and they're not a bunch of 6'5" projectable arms that throw 90 that could throw 97.
Although that could also be Wil Crowe. We don't know yet.
It's true.
All right. But yeah, so I guess back to the draft. So I guess the one question I have, and this is not how you should think at all. This is not what Cherington is thinking by any means, but this is what I'm thinking because I think this draft could potentially dictate the course of this rebuild also. Okay. What I mean by that, if the pick is lighter, if the pick is rocker,
speeds it up.
We don't know if they're aces. Okay. They're likely not aces, but they're a top of the rotation arm.
Yeah.
You've got someone there who's going to lock it up probably 2 years from now. Right. Which is cool. You got these arms coming. Right. So that's cool. So 2023 looks like that could really be the start. If it's Lawler,
2024, 2025.
That's not happening. Right. So it's like this pick, if it's rocker or lighter, even though they're picked now, we're talking about all these prospects that's already in the system, they're probably still that first wave. So, you're all the players we just named, they're coming up after them, and now you're seeing this team. Whereas if it's Lawler, then it's like Peguero and them are now like that first wave. The Castillos, like they're the first wave. So it's like, is 2023 really not realistic to start seeing something? Is it really like a 2024, 2025 type of rebuild?
Yeah, that's a good question because if you're looking at like a rocker or a lighter are going to be up here, not next year, but the year following. As long as everything goes according to plan. And then at that point, you're burning service years during a rebuild. So how quickly is this thing going to transpire?
Right.
So I guess if they go with one of the college arms, it's kind of encouraging that they hopefully think that we can do this quicker. Because in reality, these guys aren't that far away. A lot of them.
No.
They're really not. Peguero's not that far away. Swaggerty's, I don't want to speak too highly of him yet, but he's right there. Cruz right there.
And all we're
Hayes is
asking
here.
for is like them to start coming up in 2023.
I
Like,
mean,
to get that
Nick
a little bit of
Gonzalez,
experience, and then
right.
2024 being like the year where they're really trying to compete.
And Nick Gonzalez is going to be banging on the door before you know it, too.
Shit, that guy might be here this
So
year.
a lot of these guys are like, they're a lot closer than I think it really seems like. So maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing to go to the college arm. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad. Speed this thing up. I don't want to watch another bad year. And if I'm going to watch a bad year, I want to watch some guys that don't suck or might not suck.
Well, good luck. That ain't this year. But I guess I think that is a little bit of a concern, and I don't think that should be in their mind. I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. Do they say we're going to go later rocker because we want to start competing in 2023, knowing
No.
Leiter's the best available? Like, you don't do that.
You take the best available no matter what.
So if they feel like Lawler is the best available, I feel they should take him. But I guess the one thing with that is, if that is the guy, then I start thinking like maybe we're not as close as I think we kind of were thinking we were.
Yeah.
And it's not that we're wrong. Also, let's say this too, like we kind of, I guess, thought we were closer we were because we all were thinking that pick's Rocker. So like in our head, Rocker's been a Pirate for like a year now, and you've already had Rocker in the rotation in 2023.
Right.
So now that might not happen, and now it's like maybe we're not as close.
Either way, you at the end of the day, you take the best player available and you deal with the consequences after.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you think that does for the rebuild. At some point, if you go college arm, we're still looking at 2023, 2024. God, it seems so long away.
It does. It does
Kill me.
That's why, like for me, you do best available, but I'm just like, man,
Do I really want to wait 5 years?
I want to have good
Lawler?
Pirates baseball again. Ever since North Shore 9 came in existence, the Pirates have had losing seasons.
Like we're talking, if they go Lawler, we're talking probably 4 years at least.
Right.
Before he's even up. Yeah, take a college arm. I'm not patient enough for this.
So Jim decides that he's going to go in the chat. He's not good enough to be on the stream. He says, draft Davis, trade Stallings for a pitcher. Boom, then we're set. Henry Davis is best available. Of course, Jim's saying that.
Jim's an idiot.
Fanboy.
He thinks Lamar's a good quarterback, so his opinion's invalid.
But yeah, so I guess to wrap up like the draft here, that's again like a little bit of the thing I was talking about. Not a concern, but just a thought process. I do feel like if it is Lawler, I think that kind of sets the organization not back in a sense, but like the time frame back. That 2023 probably isn't the deal. You know?
Because I mean, no matter how you look at the minor league system right now and all everything we think's impact, 1-1 is the impact player.
Yes. That's what you want out of 1-1. Like you want to have a Garrett Cole type of player.
Right.
And not a Tony Sanchez type of player.
Exactly. Or Brian Boynton.
Or that too. So yes, you want this. And this is the opportunity the Pirates have. This is going to be his first. So it's a big deal. But if it is Lawler, it is what it is. But that's the thing, like you said. So of the talent the Pirates have, it is a lot of young talent, but it's not towards like the extreme young. I mean, they're just mostly like just a few years away anyways. And if they're playing at this rate, they're progressing the rate that they could potentially do it. 2023 is good for them, but it's not as if like, again, like then you're waiting on the rest of the Pirates to come.
Right.
So that's the thing. So, all right. I think that's enough draft talk without really talking draft talk.
Right. All we need to know.
Yeah. We talked about the draft. Here's zero analysis about the players.
We don't care who they draft. Just pick one of them.
Yes, that's all. I just want the draft to be over. Like of all years too, the draft to be a month later. My God, you had to do it. You had to do this again, MLB. The Pirates had to fall into something where, like, I can't deal with this for an extra month.
The analysis is going to be awesome.
Because here's the thing: Next week, it's going to be Brady House. Number 1 overall pick, Brady House. The shortstop from Georgia. He's in high school too, but too many shortstops.
Who's the Florida catcher?
That was
Castro. Is that his name?
his name. Adrian Del Castillo.
Castillo.
It's a Castillo, just add a Del in front of it. It
Yep,
can't
he's
be
next.
him just based on that. I can't do it. There's
be
too
him
many
next.
Will C's. Now there's too many Castillos.
He's next.
Yes. All right. What else do you want to talk about? Anything? We want to wrap this
I'm
up.
about out of stuff.
Cool. Same with me.
Since Will hates us, or Will, God, now everyone's Will. Since Jim hates us.
Jim says every first round pick from Louisville in every sport ends up being MVP caliber.
Freaking Jim Crow.
Jim Crowe. He kind of has a point too, which kind of sucks.
I mean,
God, I hate Jim. All right. Let's move on. We're done talking here. So Pirates stink. Chad Cole. Speaking of stinks, Chad Cole's
oh
potentially
God,
returning
don't
soon.
remind me he's coming back.
Who we didn't
Kill
talk
me.
about? Yahuree. So he's in Pittsburgh. He's not on the
Yeah,
team
but-
yet.
Yeah, he's watch him be a taxi squad guy.
I'm curious. Is there some potential like IL stint coming up?
No, he's
No.
just going to be up here for fun, and they're
Why
going to
would
send
you?
him back.
I just don't.
'cause
I guess
God
my
hates
thing
us.
is, why would you put him on the taxi? You want him to get innings. I would want to use someone else expendable that I don't really care about on the taxi squad.
Maybe they just. I mean, it could be possible that they figured we'll skip a start for him anyhow, keep him fresh, and if we need him. We need him. I don't know.
Maybe
I mean,
Skip a
with
start.
not having a minor league system,
management there.
yeah,
Okay,
it's possible.
I could get that. I could be on board with that. That's a
Or they
that's
just,
a mentality I could fox with too.
yeah. I mean, and especially in like AAA, I would have like 7 starters. Screw it.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I didn't think about that. He's on the taxi squad. He's there if you need him. You're helping him manage. Maybe that's how they'll utilize the taxi squad too.
Yeah, and if you need him,
You're
you need
here
him.
in
If you
case,
don't,
but
then he gets to
also we're
skip
giving
a spot.
you 10 days off instead of 5.
Right.
That's not a
I
bad
don't know
idea
that
of using the taxi
I have
squad.
no idea if that's what they're doing, but
I don't either. But I'll tell you what, I like that idea of it.
it's what I do.
The
I'm
chances
over good
are
ideas.
you're not pitching, but you're there in case we need you, and he's a capable pitcher.
Yeah, and
I just
if
wonder
not,
if it's
we
going
get
to
to
throw
save
him
bullets.
off anywhere. Maybe not. I'm cool with that.
They didn't throw last year. Who cares? They're already thrown off.
I meant like his bullpen sessions or whatever. Like I don't know how
I'm sure they kept bullpen sessions
they
the
would
same.
work
and
that
then,
out. Like if he has to start like the next day, or I don't know. I guess we'll see. That's not a totally bad
Yeah.
idea, though. I do like that.
They're all smarter than me. I'm sure they have it figured out.
If not, Pirates are calling up Tyler.
Yeah, just
now.
hire me. I'm
There you go.
available.
The pitching Yinza.
That's what I do.
All right, let's get out of here. Any last
Yeah, I
words,
gotta
Tyler?
pee. I gotta pee. Those my last words.
I gotta pee. All right, we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.